Yo, what's good, everybody? Give everybody a second to get on up in this bad boy. Get this show jumping. Get this show jumping. We done shared it, got it out. Give everybody a second to get on in. Got Coach Mace in the green room, ready to get this thing jumping. What's good, everybody? Just giving y'all a quick second to tap on in real quick for me and Coach Mace get it jumping. Appreciate y'all giving us your ear for a while. It's gonna be dope, man. Got some hot stuff. We're gonna get jumping. All right, we're gonna get this thing jumping. Don't matter how many people in here. We just want to get this message across. First off, man, welcome to Expensive Carrots Podcast. I'm your host, Ant. Man, we're gonna get this thing jumping. I am super excited, man. We got a dope guest, and today this is the first episode of a new segment I'm dropping called Temperature Check. And man, I am beyond excited, man, for this today. I'm just gonna drop this video for the people that's just now tuning in real quick. I'm gonna drop this video so you guys can kind of gauge where we coming from and get this thing jumping. Then we'll introduce Coach Mason. We're gonna get this thing on the roll, y'all. Give me 1 second. We're gonna drop it. All right, back at it, y'all. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce the man, the myth, the legend, my guy, my brother, one of the dopest in the game, Coach Mace. Everybody show Coach Mace some love. Welcome, Coach Mace. Welcome, Coach Mace.
Hey, what's good? What's good? Temperature check, man. It's
yes, sir, Coach. Coach. Hold on. Let me do you right, Coach Mace. Let me do you right, baby. Come on, man. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited. How you doing today, Coach Mace?
Oh man, I'm blessed, man. I'm doing really good, man. You know what I'm saying? Just came from watching some football down at Spark Stadium, some high school ball, just to get my fix in, and you know what? I'm here, man. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing well, Coach, man. It can't be better, man. I got you on the hook, man. I got you on the line to crack this thing off. Temperature check, man. I really think we're going to check some temperature today. This thing, man, we're going to We're gonna basically talk about this segment of temperature check and what it means. And man, we gonna have fun with this thing. We're gonna get in depth with a bunch of different stuff and interact with the viewers. And man, I'm looking forward to a great time. And first off, thank you for your time. Thank you for your commitment, man, and just prepping with me and vibing and rocking out with me. And man, I'm excited.
Yeah, no, man, come on, man. You and I go way, way back, man. Before social media was kicking off with youth football, before a lot of the videos and the mini movies and stuff like that. So, you know what, man, a ton of respect for you and what you're doing for our state, with your platform,
Man, I
and
appreciate
just
that,
everything.
Coach.
So, man, yeah, it's a pleasure, bro. Thank you.
That's love, man. So once again, this is Coach Mace. Everybody, Coach Mace. Why don't you give a quick bio, quick breakdown of who you are for the people that don't know you, and for the people that love you know you, but a little love for everybody.
Yeah, man. You know what? For me, man, I've been let's see. I'm originally from the East Coast. I came out to Washington back in 2000, and man, I've been out here, and just engulfed in the coaching community, man. Started in the youth football community over 15 years ago.
Yes, sir.
And I won't give you a whole novel, but you know what? I mean, my background, I played youth, started at 7, played high school ball, played for Shepherd University out in West Virginia. You know what? I've been a coach, what I'm saying? Started from the bottom as far as, the YMCA all the way up to the high school level. That's the highest level that I've ever coached.
That's dope.
And, when it comes to youth football, man, I'm not, anybody that knows me, I'm not really one to talk about myself, but just because it's with this game of football, nothing that I've done was by myself. It was always with a group of great men on the staff. And one of the things that we always preached was there was really never any head coaches, because everybody had, everybody weighed in. So with that, some of the accolades, 7 youth championships at the youth level. And the cool part about that is that's kind of spread out with, for those that I'm gonna date myself, the old Metro Parks League, championship in that league, man, the now Narrows League, which is a youth, more geared towards feeder, the Nisqually League, back then. And then I think, the last one was in the Gypsy, man, before the Gypsy, what it is now, which is nothing.
Absolutely.
When it was jumping. So, man,
Absolutely.
and then, talk about some of the extra stuff that I did. I know we'll probably get into this, but spring tackle 11 on 11, done that. Indoor youth football, tackle, padded, what I like to say 7 on 7 and 5 on 5 smashed together with equipment, man. That was a phenomenal experience. And then coaching at the national level,
absolutely,
with FBU, with Gridiron and JPS, with Air and AYF, and with that, just some accolades there with the staff. I think we got about 6 or 7 regional championships there. And then of course you can't forget 7 on 7. I'm a 7 on 7 fanatic. Been there since the beginning of 7 on 7. Some of the first tournaments here in Washington. Building squads. Some of the roles that I've held, man, I've been everything from like I said, positional coach to director of player development for youth, organization, vice president of a youth organization, and currently a regional, director for the state of Washington for FBU Team Seattle and FBU as a whole. You got it, man. A lot of history there. That's a whole nother breakout.
Yes,
but
sir.
In summary, man, as far as credibility, and this will probably be the last time you really hear me talk about it, but when you talk about win-loss record, people, like to go with that. The staffs that I've had the pleasure to work with, roughly about, I think I would say 170 something wins, and less than 36 losses, probably about 36 losses. But there's a strategy to that. You know what I'm saying? That's me with a great group of men, man. Just absolutely giving back. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell, man. Thank you,
man. That's big time. Absolutely. I appreciate that, coach. So we're gonna start off basically with temperature check and the reason why segment, basically spin off from my podcast that I just started rolling with called Expensive Carrots. And I felt like temperature check was a unique and special name. I felt like there's a lot of stuff going on and there's no accountability for it. But I also felt like I wanted something for us as coaches to be able to have fun and rock with. And really, the gist of it, Coach Mace, we kind of shot the breeze on it. I want our parents and our local communities to be able to know who's coaching their baby. I want the coach to be able to be out there and talk his talk, whether it's good or bad. It's not really an interrogation, but it's gonna be on the coach. Whoever wants to lock in and make a bid for themselves, not as far as recruiting or kids or however you want to do it. It really doesn't matter, but I really want to bring the aspect of community back as far as coaching. Everything's about the kids. We understand that. We wouldn't be coaching without the kids, and that's dope and we love that. But I want to be able to provide something that's maybe a little bit different, a little bit unique in the aspect of getting coaches together and let's communicate one-on-one interviews. Once the season comes out, we figure out schedules. I want to lock in two coaches at the same time and let's shoot the breeze, man. Let's temperature check. Like there's a lot of Facebook talk and stuff that be going on, Coach Mace. Like let's get real. There's a lot of subliminals that go on, no matter who it is, what league it is, what person did this or what person did that. There's a lot of smoke going on, but it's different when you face to face. The temperature gets checked. It's completely different.
Always.
Completely.
Always. And I think, respectfully, I think that's where, we got to, try to keep it high level, man. And there's nothing wrong with great competition. There's nothing wrong with keeping it in between the lines and talking that talk. But, us as coaches, man, and you're probably going to hear me say this a lot, come prepared before you do all that stuff. If you're a keystroke guy or you're an internet thug, and you want to do all of that stuff, as far as your coaching is concerned and be that guy, at least be overly prepared and don't have any kinks in your armor when you come to the table, man. It just, that's just one of the things, that I look at. But preparation, man, and we'll talk about it. Preparation. What I would like to see, is a lot of these coaches, man, come together, right, for the betterment of the game. Come together for the betterment of your communities, what I'm saying, that you're representing out there, whether you're in the Narrows League and you're a feeder program, your Gig Harbor, your Graham Eagles, your UP Vikings, Puyallup Vikes or whoever it is, you come to the table, representing, taking care of your kids. If you're in the now Northwest Premier, which is probably what I would probably consider one of the number one leagues in the state, right? Because of all the diversity of teams that you have, man. Imagine what that looks like. Coming together, having a coaches clinic, a meet and greet. That's something that Metro Parks used to do. They used to kick off the season, bringing all the coaches together, right? And we'd be at the high school in the cafeteria. They have lunch and everything. You got your name tags. You're meeting guys from other programs. And what was dope was, dudes are coming swagged out there in their gear. They're representing their tribes, man. But then it's hey, I see Lenny Gomez over there from Kent Knights. I see Mo over there from Kent Knights. Let me go chop it up with them. How you looking this year, man? I'm looking all right. You still got Chavez coming back. Oh yeah, Anyway, you get out there, man, and then you have that competition, right? And you come back. And you get back in the lab and you sharpen your coaching, tools, and you come out there and coach.
Yes, sir.
Versus coaching for likes these days. It's a temperature check. So, I don't have no skin in the game, man. I don't coach small ball right now. I'm postseason and 7. So there's no allegiance. And again, I respect a lot of coaches out here. However, I think a lot of coaches need some work too. You gotta put in there.
That's big time, man. I respect that big time, and it has to be established up front, based on this episode 1. We're gonna keep this thing as real as we could get it. Like we're gonna talk that talk. We're not gonna be messy with it. But we're gonna be respectful and we're gonna get it out there. Like, exposure needs to take place. Like, we want these kids to get exposure, but us as coaches and community leaders don't get held accountable. You know, they need that exposure too. Not in the area of the good, but sometimes it need to be in the area of the bad. You know, the show's based on the good, but there's good and the bad. You know, there's left and right, there's up and down, there's opposites. You know, sometimes people do some good stuff that needs to be brought to the forefront, you know, and brought with love, you know, and brought with encouragement and motivation, so that in hopes other coaches can do that too, you know, and it's commendable, you know, and the same with the negative, you know. We don't want to be messy, but don't give nobody anything to talk about. If you don't want nobody in your business, don't give anybody anything to talk about, you know, plain and simple.
Plain and simple, man.
It's not hard.
You know, three words, man. And you can start with this, you know, what's your why? Right?
Hold that real quick, Coach, because we about to hold that real quick. We about to get this thing jumping. Hold on, Coach. We're gonna establish a temperature check real quick. Just the format of how it's gonna go, Coach. Hold on to that real fast for me. Growing up, your parents, basically about temperature checking, how we're gonna come at it with. Growing up, your parents may have kissed or placed their hand on your forehead to see if you had a fever when you wasn't feeling good or well. When those gestures may have been comforting, but they weren't very accurate. That's why a thermometer is needed, to get an accurate reading. We want to get an understanding. We want to know what's going on with our baby, why our baby isn't feeling good. Checking the body temperature with the thermometer is an easy and accurate method to see if a fever is present and active. A fever, which is a rise in your body's temperature, is usually caused by an infection. Our way, me and Coach Mason's way tonight, and whoever else guessed that wants to come on, our way of checking a fever is to do a temperature check. We gauge in, tap in with coaches, see how they are, how they doing, what's going on, how can we help, how can we promote, how can we do the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever needs to be done. How can we help? How can we extend ourselves? How can we extend our presence, our love, our influence, whatever it is. We want a temperature check. That's what we want. We want to just tap in with coaches. This isn't an interrogation about the bad. This is just a temperature check. We're just checking to make sure you're all right, or how can we help? How's your program doing? Could we help fundraise or throw some ideas or whatever it is to help these kids succeed? Not so much really the adults, because you're held accountable already, but what could we do to better furtherment the game for these kids, you know? Along with that, you might notice that there's some weak batteries in this thing, Coach Mace. There might be some weak batteries inside that thermometer. Speaking of the weak batteries, some examples for the weak batteries. There might be a bunch of sneak dissing.
Oh,
we see a lot of that when somebody takes an L, Coach Mace. We see a lot of that. No matter what platform you're on, where you're at, we see a lot of that going on, and it ain't cool. Coach Mace, we see a lot of subliminal messages. A lot of sneaky stuff instead of people want to man up. We see a lot of throwing examples out there of other people knowing it's for somebody else. We see a lot of that. Appreciate you, Jonathan, for tapping in with us, family. Also, we see a lot of jabs. A lot of people like to kick people when they down. Nobody want to extend that helping hand and be real and give you a self-evaluation or extend their hand of love and, man, let me pull you up, man. You in a tough time right now. How can we extend that love to you and restore you and make this thing right, you know? On social media, and that gives inconsistent readings.
yeah.
You know, that gives off bad vibes, Coach Mace. A lot of people don't like people because of what they've heard or what somebody else has said. Not the person that they've encountered for themselves, but what they've heard or what somebody's typed. Subliminal message. Man up. The temperature's different when you see somebody in person, Coach Mace. It's completely different. Everybody want to be best friends, Coach Mace.
Not everybody.
Not everybody. You're right about that. I don't know if we go to we might touch on that.
But you know, and I love it. And I just want to pause real quick because you're hitting something that, man, you jogged something from me where back in the day, and it's still like this with a lot of, you know, friends that I've made, man. You make friends with, you know, other coaches from other organizations, and we used to have a group that we would come back in just as coaches, as you know,
yes,
and
sir.
we would have our conversations, the whole 9 yards, man. You didn't want to lose, but you know what? At the same time, those same dudes was in that group to help you too. You were going to be a better coach at the end of the day.
whether you liked it or not.
You didn't go to clinics or anything.
Yep.
You knew what was going to happen, you know, and the gauntlet was coming, you know, the gauntlet was coming. But no, back to you, man.
That sounds like accountability, Coach Mace.
A major.
People don't like that. That's a powerful impact word.
Oh yeah, yeah.
People don't like that.
The social media stuff, man. Like when you mentioned, you know, it's a bunch of the emojis and the donuts and the, you know, and all that stuff. And I think what gets lost, or what puts people in really bad situations is, you know, it goes back to that communication that we talked about, right? And with internet and the subliminals, you're taking out two major pieces of communication. Two major pieces of communication, and that's tone and body language. Anybody can look it up. Anybody can look it up. Communication is broken down into three areas, man: words,
yes,
tone, and body language. All right. All right. Body language is a large percentage of communication. It's like 50+%, like 55%. Okay. Tone is another 30-something%.
Absolutely.
Words are about 7 to 8%, man. So it's really not what you're saying, it's how you're saying it. So when you do all of that keystroking and stuff, and then you see somebody face to face, that's where the temperature may be different. And what we can do to help each other out as coaches, so it's not messy or it gets crazy in between these brands or these teams, is get together, man, fellowship. And then you know what? Parents and kids need to see that. You know, they need to see that we can have that friendly competition out there without it getting too crazy. You know,
absolutely. 100%. 100%. We'll continue on a temperature check just to break down ways to get rid of a real fever. We all know this. Drink cold water, get rest, avoid spicy foods, and take medicine. My way, our way, me and Coach Mace way, and everybody else that's going to be on here is talk about it. Get it off your chest. That's the gist of it. You know, Coach Mace, this next portion, we're going to go into some questions. You know, a lot of people might want to know about you, man. I think it'd be super dope to kind of get it out there and allow you to elaborate and express kind of your heartbeat and how you do things as a coach and as a man and husband and father, all that good type of stuff.
Yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
Man.
First,
go ahead, fire away.
No, you yes, sir.
I signed up for it. I'm in the
yes, sir. First off, you know I appreciate you, man. Ain't nothing gonna be too crazy, but I really feel like these might be some questions that I've always wanted to ask, you know, and maybe somebody else that's watching that may be afraid to approach you or feel like, hey, man, that dude's great. I might have limited knowledge or blah 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 blah, but they don't understand your heartbeat. They don't understand you're just as personable, no matter how good of a coach you are or at the beginner level. You know, you treat everybody to the best of your ability with love and respect. You know.
Absolutely. 100%.
Absolutely. So first question, Coach Mace, what is your style of coaching?
What is my style of coaching?
Yes, sir.
I'm a player's coach.
Okay.
I can tell you that right now. I'm a player's coach that's extremely organized and structured. And you know, and I believe in a high level of communication.
Yes, sir.
Anybody that's been around me or coached with me, or, you know, I've coached, or as a parent, you know, they'll probably tell you, you know, Coach Mason sends pretty in-depth emails. Anybody that's coached with me will tell you that I'm structured and organized. There's not a day that doesn't, you know, as a head coach, I'm not sending out a detailed agenda with, you know, down to the minute, you know, on everything that we're doing. But I'm also in tune to the kids, man. I love connecting with the kids. That's why I say I'm a player's coach.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, one of the things that got me into it, you know, was, you know, just me loving the game, you know, something that my dad and I did. And I understand that these kids, they're from all different type of, you know, home, you know, backgrounds, home life. It's a lot of diversity.
Absolutely.
And it goes back to communication, understanding their behavioral style and how they're wired. Once you connect with them, man, that's when you can bring the best out of the kid. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, long story short, I consider myself a player's coach without a shadow of a doubt.
Absolutely. I love that. Coach Mace, this is a big one. First word it shapes this whole question we kind of talked about. I think this is so dope. B-Jack, appreciate you tapping in with me and Coach Mace. Coach Mace, this is big. We spoke on this. Hold on, baby, in a second. Why, ? course, the first word. Why did you want to become a coach?
Why did I want to become a coach? Man, what's your why, right? Great
Yes,
book
sir.
out there, man. Simon Sinek. If you haven't read it, go pick it up. Well, let me back up before I answer that. I think every parent should ask a coach, what's your why? Why are you coaching? That might give you, enough information right there to make a decision as to, why you may want to or not want to have your kid under their leadership.
Yes, sir.
My why, man, started when I was 7 years old. Football is something that I've always done. It's something that my parents put me in when I was 7. My parents are split up. There's two brothers. I was with my dad. My other 2 brothers were with my mom, and that's something my dad and I just continued to do.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, he passed away when I was 12 and a half, right in front of me.
About that too, Coach Mason. I'm so sorry. You said right in front of you. No way.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, I can replay it. Every single day. There's not a day I don't think about it.
Man, my goodness.
I tell you that though, when you talk about what's your why, that's something that I used as a motivator. I think my natural instinct as a kid was just to lock in to play the game. I was used to kind of see my dad there, and it turned into keeping me locked in for school, keeping me locked in for high school, and then it afforded me the opportunity to go to college, man. So that's why beautiful. Is it got me through without having a dad to lean on, without having somebody to guide me, without seeing my dad in the stands. I can relate to a lot of kids that even now as an adult with a family of of 2 boys that have played, one that's still playing college ball, one that just finished playing.
Beautiful family, by the way, man. Super blessing.
Thank you. 2 daughters. I can relate to kids that have a good foundation at home, because what they need structure. And I can relate to those that may have a single parent at home, or don't have a dad, or don't have their mom in their life. So my why is to mentor these kids, man, have fun myself through the game of football as a conduit. So at the end of the day, everybody's getting their fix. And I can go on and on with the amount of years that I've coached, the amount of kids and parents and the relationships that I've generated. It's just been an absolute blessing. And to see
that's dope. That's beautiful.
See kids, dreams come true, man, and be a part of that the right way is
it's a treasure.
Cool.
It's a treasure. On the basis of your answer, Coach Mace, it deserves this. I'm gonna be so real with you, man. Like that's so powerful. Like your why should be the reason. If you're not out there for something that's bigger than yourself, why are you out there?
Why are you out there?
Why are you out there? Like, we coach for one reason and one reason. We might have different reasons, but our main reason, we're not at that field if them kids aren't at that field, Coach Mace. That's what brings us there. They're the harvest that we want to mentor, shape, and mold. They're right there. They signed up. All you got to do is your part as a coach.
If you put your hand in the air and you volunteered to coach, you owe it to yourself and you owe it to those parents to give them a return on their investment. A lot of parents that they hear the acronym ROI. I owe them a return on their investment. They paid money.
Goodness.
They paid money to this business. Okay. Nonprofit or not, all of these organizations are businesses. They should have, some sort of something, an EIN number or something if they're legit and have a bank account.
Absolutely.
So when you talk about loyalty and things like that, parents need to be loyal to whoever they decide to pay their money to.
That's real.
And as coaches and as a president of an organization, it's my job to put out a quality product. To include, as best as we can, good coaching. And I think that's a top-down approach. As a president of an organization, I need to make sure all my coaches at every single level are dialed in. And it's just, from the programs that I've been in, we're meeting as coaches a month before the season kicks off.
Ooh,
we're going over practice plans, man. I mean, ideally, you should have your first 30 days of practice already laid out. And if you don't as a coach, You know what? Shame on you, man. You're not setting the
Ooh.
tone for the season. And guess what? We know what those coaches look like. You want to know how you know what those coaches look like? Man, you got me on the temperature check, man. Kids are standing around. They're running laps. They're doing gassers. You know what I'm saying? Hey, coaches don't have, I'm not saying that you have to be this way. They don't have a script that they're going off of. They don't have a regimen. They're scrimmaging 90% of the time. In summary, man, you know what? Set the tone for the season, coaches. Again,
absolutely.
You know what? I was given a bunch of nuggets, man. I'm still given a bunch of stuff, man. And I'm always trying to learn. I'm not perfect by any means. I make mistakes. You know what? I call bad plays that I probably shouldn't call. Heck, I've had QBs. You coach, we can't run that because of da-da-da. You know what? You're right. But that's where humility is the cornerstone of leadership. You got to be able to be, but
hold on, coach. Hold on. Some nuggets. I don't know a thing. Hold on, coach. Hold on, man. What did you just say? Wait a minute. I know I didn't just hear that. Say that again, Coach Mace, for the people that didn't hear.
The cornerstone of leadership, man. You gotta be willing. You gotta be willing to humiliate yourself, man.
My goodness, woo! That's a different. That's the different level of talk right there, Coach Mace.
Well, I mean, again, from what I see from some out there, right, that are on the social media stuff, and they're maybe doing it for likes, or they may be just trying to fill their own bucket. They put themselves in a situation where it's hard because they done talk, and did all of this, and they've gone out there, they've gotten smacked or whatever. Happens to everybody.
Absolutely, nobody's exempt. Absolutely.
I've been goose egged. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So what? I've been beat 40-something-0. Shoot, indoor.
Absolutely.
Man, a team from Snohomish put up a 70 burger on me, man. You know
That's
what?
Real. It happens.
Yeah, we went back. You know what?
Get better. Get back to the drawing board and reassess.
Right. But I tell you what, if you draw the line and you do what I call just set the tone up for the season, and that starts a few months before the season, you'll build a foundation for success, which that'll establish expectations and goals, or trying to get away from expectations. It'll establish standards.
There we go.
Goals,
I like that.
Right?
I like that.
It'll build trust, right? And it's going to promote team culture, man. Set the tone.
Ooh, you dropping bombs, Coach Mace. You dropping some nuggets, man, that I honestly feel it's gonna help a lot of people. I'm no longer a coach. I haven't coached in 8 years, but I'm still a student of the game. I'm super fortunate to still be able to be active in the community as far as shooting games, capturing moments, and helping people to relive that and create a digital footprint for people. So I'm still able to go back and I'm still able to watch footage. When I talk to coaches, I want to be able to know what I'm talking about when I approach you. And I might not be always 100%. I'm not trying to be perfect. Somebody that I'm not. I'm not trying to be tough. None of this. I just want to literally talk football with people. Like, I feel like that brings a different side of me out. Like, everybody has different sides, just like everybody has different triggers. Football is something that's special. Football is something that's unique. I feel like it's a blessing from God. Like, it's just the ultimate teacher of life, in my personal opinion.
Man, I co-sign with you 1,000%. And I'm gonna pause for a minute and give you your flowers. You're giving people probably even more than what some of these coaches are giving people, because when you talk about what you're capturing as far as video and pictures, by interviews, man, I got stuff from you going back to 2015, 14, taking it back to, Graham Eagles, 13U, and, we played Renton Rangers. I think Coach Reggie Witherspoon was running that team.
Yes, sir.
Nobody knew it. Nobody knew anybody from Graham. But I think we made a statement that game. But
before you keep going, I got to let everybody know, I didn't know nothing about Graham Eagles neither. I watched them boys walk in. I knew Coach Spoon was a coach. I knew Coach Spoon was a dope, phenomenal coach in a bunch of different ways, not just X's and O's. I feel like he's a beast. He's a great teacher. He loves the kids, and just he has a special bond with them kids. But let's be real, Coach Mace. The boys walked in that blue and that orange. Everybody counted them out. If we want to be real, Coach Mace, and I hate to even bring this up, but I'm going to be real. It was basically a black team versus a white team. Not everybody was white on GK, don't get me wrong. But the gist of it, we're not going to play race issues. But absolutely. Coach said we have some light brights. But to be real, I seen on the other side, man, a dope coach. I seen talent. I heard about Coach Mace. I knew Coach Mace. But now it's time to see Coach Mace and his squad in action and his coaches. First play after the kickoff return. You guys got to maybe about the 35-yard line. First play, I don't know what got into you. I don't know if you just heard the fans when you walked in and you heard, I don't know what it was, but I remember you dialed up. You was probably in some type of low-key spread situation. And all I remember is you dialed up on that first play, a quick slant that hit him for about 60, 70 off to the races, split the safeties, and just, wait a minute, man. Not to my guy, Coach Spoon, not to what? How did we happen? Who is coaching? Like what? Like that Coach Mace, I'm be honest, it was a culture shock after that. I told you yesterday it was a culture shock after that took place. You felt everybody exhale like, who the hell did we sign up to play and what is about to take place in this game?
Yeah, man. Oh, man, you gave me goosebumps on that game, man. You know what? It was crazy because we came out of the woodwork and we had tapped in earlier in that season in a preseason jamboree that Terrell Basie ran at Chief Stealth. Shout out to him, man. He used to put on the livest jamborees. And
yes,
I remember walking in with the Graham team, hear the cackling and hearing the comments. And then, that game, it was a slant to Solomon Bang by Dylan Morris, man.
Hey, Coach Mace, check this out. Somebody already knew what took place. Somebody was there. We got history. We ain't just talking just to talk.
No, man. And you know what? Before I go any further, because you said Coach Mace, but me and that staff and my man, the best icon, GOAT, O-line coach today.
Hands down.
Coach Ant, man. Coach Ant Fuentes, man. Him and I, we were joined at the hip. And we spent countless hours behind the scenes, man, building the playbook, coming up with the schemes, assessing our talent. Again, it goes back to preparation. So we were going to come out, man. We came out coaching, bro. It was fun, but I ain't gonna lie. Spoon had us shook though, because we knew, they were real. And it was a good game, man. It was dope.
And then just at that, Coach Mace, those type of matchups didn't happen often like that. Cross matchups like that, we didn't in the midst of the league. Like, it wasn't a league game, but those type of matchups don't happen. Two teams that have never seen each other, that would never play. Like, that wasn't really the culture of Washington. That wasn't really extended like that.
Hold up.
Somewhat. I could be wrong, and I'll admit it.
Time out, because here's what I'm gonna give you, man. Here and disclaimer. No knock on anybody doing anything right now, okay?
Absolutely.
No knock on that. But there's a lot of comments that, that you see posted out there. Hey, I've done this for the state. I've done this for the state. At the end of the day, there's been a lot of foundation laid prior to what it is today. And it's crazy because you see a lot of the meme mentality. My team, my this, my that. You don't see a lot of we or all that. So you can tell, but there was cross-state. Remember at the postseason in Auburn, and anybody can remember this, Jeff Simonson would run the turkey. It was the turkey bowl.
I apologize. You are absolutely right.
Bro.
You are absolutely right.
Teams, Rainier Ravens would come in. I remember
you're right.
1 year I had Foster Sorrell, Graham 11U. We played Damon Tellis and the Ravens. I'd never seen a team. I got beat 40-something to 14.
Absolutely.
They killed us. Pendleton, Oregon would come up. Jerry Mercado would bring Tri-Cities, the elite.
From the east side, yep.
From the east side, man. And then it morphed into that. But then Terrell Basie, he would get it jumping off with the preseason jamborees. And I think Rachi, when he was with the Northwest Cougs, He
Absolutely.
started to bring events, and it just started to blow up, man. But even national stuff, I saw, a couple teams down in Hawaii this year, this past weekend,
That's
did
dope.
that. Coach Kevin Moffitt and I and Coach Simi Strickland, Justin Strickland with the Washington Warriors, man, went to Oahu. I think they were playing in the same stadium.
Was that the Tenina Bowl, or I can't figure? I don't know how to say it exactly.
I think the Tanoa Bowl. So that's
Tanoa.
Washington
Thank you for your
Warriors used to
correction.
facilitate that. They would
So
bring
what you
in,
say? What you saying, Coach Mace? Is we've had select ball up here before. That if you're new to the scene, you might not know the history or the landscape of what's already taken place. It's on YouTube if you don't believe us.
exactly. Yep, the Tanoa
It's been
Bowl.
documented.
It's been I got all the footage right here.
We got archives.
And so it is, but history repeats itself, right? I think in
Absolutely.
the newer age with social media and the streaming and everything, everything's captured now, which I think is dope. I just think, for some, it's just pipe it down a little bit. It's been done before,
That's
it's
real.
just, you may be breaking down a different barrier or something like that.
That's real.
But my point was, Washington's been doing that, man. I remember. Yeah, those games in Auburn were cool,
jumping.
Man. It was perfect. I remember. I remember first time I took a team there. It was a 10U team out of Graham. We got smacked up, man. And I was like, okay, there's some real ones out there,
That's real. Coach Mace. So we've established we've had select up here. Talk to me about something that's a little bit different. Talk to me about the IYFL. We're gonna get back into the questions. We're gonna get back into the breakdown. But talk to me about the IYFL for people that don't know and ain't been on the scene in youth football.
If you don't know about the IYFL, you can go on YouTube and you can search Indoor Youth Football League. It was youth football, arena youth football, and it was done indoors. And we brought that model down from the AYFL up north in Marysville, man.
Okay.
A buddy of mine, who I coached with for a long time, Coach Henson, we went to a arena game in the ShoWare Center in Kent. And at halftime, they brought out these youth players, and they were in pads and they were playing arena ball. So me being me, I'm an out of the box thinker, man. I was like, I've never seen this before. This is dope. Afterwards, tracked down the coach and found out they had been doing it up north for about 3 years. In fact, Seattle Speed, Damon Tullis had a team in there as well. And I was like, hey, I want in. So we built a team out of Graham, pulled some players from different, that was kind of the first select model, in my opinion, that I was getting into. And we went up there. We lost every game that year. in the indoor.
My goodness.
Long story short, we purchased the model, brought it down here, hooked up with my guy Nick, and he outfitted the Tacoma Soccer Center so we can play in it. And man, indoor youth football, man, and it was dope. It was dope. It was basically 7-on-7, 5-on-5, smashed together with pads.
Man, that is so dope. Man, we've established a lot in a short segment, Coach. We're just gonna keep rolling on with some questions, Coach. In your opinion, what are some of the greatest strengths and weaknesses of yours in being a football coach?
So I would say strengths. I would say organized.
Absolutely.
I'm that way at work. I'm that way at home. I'm an agenda guy. I'm a thorough guy. Communication. Strengths. Being able to adapt to different behavior styles. So understanding different type of coaches, different type of kids. That's definitely a strength. As far as I don't believe in weaknesses. I believe in areas of opportunity because you can always tweak a weakness and make it a strength. I would say, in the past, some of my areas of opportunities, man, just given how I'm wired is, there's no secret, some of the guys that know me, I got a temp light. So, I'm pretty patient. I can bottle up a lot, but then once that temp light goes, just like a lot of people, you end up seeing red. So making sure that I do things to, dial that down, especially in the coaching setting. And
that's real.
And when I was younger, Temp Light would, just like some guys out there, it would fire off quick.
Absolutely, 100%.
Now it takes a lot. I mean, in order to fire me off, you would have to go personal. But other than that, man, you know what I would say? A couple of areas of opportunity too is, not trying to take on everything. Just being able to trust other people, and that sometimes
that's huge.
That's why you see most good coaching staffs out there right now. Typically, you got about 2 or 3 guys that have been together for a good minute, and there's a lot of great coaches out there. Trust me, I can name a ton of coaches who I have a lot of respect for. And
we're gonna get into that, Coach.
Okay, there's something about that's common, and usually, they're rocking with somebody.
Absolutely, that's dope.
A couple of strengths.
Why it's kind of fresh in my mind too. Shout out to Air that just went out to Hawaii and got it in, and some competitive preseason football, and got to get their kids some exposure. Got them to take them to a different place. Dope, beautiful environment, dope setting, just dope with Coach Reggie and Air had set up, and the people in Hawaii, the beautiful culture of Hawaii, and the beautiful people of Hawaii. Like, just a dope experience for those guys. Why it was fresh on my mind. But a couple more questions, Coach. This one is huge right here. Like, is there anything in your current or previous positions that you've had that you would change? If so, what would it be, coaching wise?
Is there anything that I would change?
Absolutely. Maybe a play call. Maybe how you address somebody.
As far as
yeah. That's memorable off the top of your head. That you're just, for instance, Seahawks. Instead of running the ball in the Super Bowl, they quick slant, deflection, over with, lost the Super Bowl. Memorable, can never lose that. We lost the Super Bowl. The city has a hole in their heart, based off of that. So something that just immediate reaction, something that you just like, man, how, why, and of course the time passed now, so we can kind of look back on it.
Yeah, man. One thing that sticks out is a game. I was coaching the FBU. It was an 8th grade team. Dylan Morris was the QB, former UW QB, now at JMU. And I had who did I have in the backfield? I had Jaden Toussaint. I had Mark Tafia and Bubba. Some names. Man, we were loaded. We were loaded up front. Austin Lawrence, Eric, Medeiros' son, on the line. Anyway, we were playing Utah. We were in Utah, and we were down a touchdown. We threw a touchdown to Solomon Bang. Right, we're going for the extra point. Okay, we kick it, we tie it. All right, we go for it, we win it. So there's about a minute and like 15 left on the clock in the fourth quarter. And you know what? One of my rules of thumbs, man, is if you're on the road, just you go for the win, right? Absolutely. So we lined up the kick it to tie it, though. Me and Ant had talked about it, and they had encroached. So we're like, oh man, half the distance of the goal. Ant turns to me, turns to Ant. He's like, what do you want to do? I'm like, man, we punching this in. I was like, you know what? We got the line. Let's just go power I, run off tackle. It's wraps. We're moving on to Florida. It's a wrap. And anyway, we lined up, man. I called the play to go off tackle, and some things got jumbled up. They had some amazing linemen, man. They shot the gaps, shut us down, and that was one of them. Another one was triple overtime in Florida. We win that game against Dade County, and we go to the ship. It was a semi, triple overtime, man, and same kind of concept. We didn't punch it in. So, what would I do different? I would just go ahead and kick the goal because we had a for sure kicker and tie it up and take it to overtime.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's tough. Coach Mace, how many years of experience do you possess in coaching football that you can remember off the top of your head?
I'm still coaching, so I'm at almost 17 years.
My goodness.
Yeah.
I just think when I hear 17 years, I just think of all those kids, like that you've been able to influence, and they've been not only just one-sided, because I believe in being a football coach, it goes both ways. I always say, just speaking to myself, always say I need those kids more than they need me. You know, like that keeps me rooted and grounded and on my P's and Q's and being locked in, like knowing I got some kids and that's counting on me, you know, to be there and to maintain. And I can't afford, Coach Mace can't afford to be in trouble. He got kids depending on him. Coach Ant can't be, and he can't get in trouble. He got kids depending on him. Like knowing you got that type of standard and don't want to let those kids down, like that's the ultimate treasure right there.
And the parents. Again,
absolutely, 100%.
I owe them a return on their investment. All right,
that's big.
Now, with that being said, you know, in my personal opinion, any parent that may not have, you know, like my coaching style or what have you, I can almost guarantee you that, like most coaches, they were probably upset because it came down to playing time. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has their own different definition of what playing time is. I learned a long time ago after I first started, man. I have a 4-page parent letter that goes out when I was coaching fall ball. I still have it. And one of the things that I made sure I addressed right up front was, you know what, the team that I was coaching, and all the teams I coached for, there was no guaranteed playing time. If you want the minimum of 8 plays and things of that nature, you know, you can go up north or go down south because there are leagues that are fit for, you know, people that like to count minutes. And I would say go play in those leagues. And there's nothing wrong with those leagues. Those kids will get a minimum of 8 plays. However, that's not real life. All right. Everybody's not going to get a trophy. So
that's
soon,
real.
Very soon in middle school, they're going to find out quick that according to that coach or their coaching staff, the best kids play. You know what I'm saying?
That's
the best kids
real.
play.
That's real. Oh, that's powerful. Coach Mace, I got 2 more questions before we get into some other stuff and break some stuff down. I think I got another kind of heavy hitter question. What football coach or person in your life was most influential in shaping your current coaching style?
What football coach was okay?
Most influential in shaping your current coaching style.
You know what? It's a combination of all the coaches that I was blessed to have lead me and speaking to me. Because again, I'll go back to, you know, my dad. I didn't have my dad. You know what I'm saying? And much respect to my stepfather. All right,
Absolutely.
Love him to death.
Absolutely.
He wasn't really a disciplinarian. He wasn't, you know. So my coaches, they poured into me. So I picked up a little something along the way from everyone. But Coach Jeff Castile sticks out. He was my linebacker coach at Shepherd. He won our coach at West Virginia for a long time. I think he's still there. He was that old school, got the dip in your mouth type of coach. Would grab my face mask, you know, talk ish, you know, but he also would speak into you as well. And he had some really cool things, you know, some accolades and like the big hit shirt that you could earn if you split a guy in half. And he just kept it 100 with me, man. He kept it 100 and he let me be me. So that transfers over to kids that I coach. I'm not going to let any kids be knuckleheads, but I'll give them a little rope so that they can be them. But again, that takes getting to know them. And it's not just from 6 to 8 p.m. All right. It's not just from 6 to 8 p.m. And I see some teams out there doing it now, having team building events, right? Dialing down practice, you know, building into your practice agenda, having some fun, whether it's figure 8 or what. And then chopping it up with the dudes, man. How you doing?
Absolutely.
You know, how's home? How's school? You know, what do you like to do in your off time? You know, hopefully you ain't sitting in front of the idiot box the whole time. You know,
that's big.
Stuff like
that sounds like that leads me to kind of what we talked about, being intentional. It's more than just a 5:30 to 7:30 type of coach. It's more than just a 6 to 8 type of coach. You got to be intentional. It's more than just football.
It's a commitment. And guess what? You 6 to 8 coaches that are out there, we see it. The parents see it. You want to control attrition programs. You want to control the turnover. You're going to manage to a certain percentage of it because you can't avoid people wanting to test the waters. But you can keep your retention high by putting the time into the coaches and making sure that even if it's a dad that's stepping up for the first time, give them the tools necessary to be successful. And you know what? It's not just X's and O's, man. It could be, if I'm not a great communicator, Coach Ant, you know what, you're on my staff. You're man, you're great with the parents. You're great at communicating. Could you handle this piece, right?
Absolutely. Delegation. That's big.
Yeah, gotta have. I mean, emails, right? You gotta have
Mm,
some grammar and be able to type. If you can't do it,
yeah.
onboard somebody that can. You know,
Facts. That's big.
yeah,
Coach
that's
Mace,
why
we
I
got to
said,
quit. That's
yeah, I was
real.
gonna say I can never take credit for a bunch of stuff because
Absolutely.
it was collective a collective effort.
That's big time. Coach Mace, we got a real quick question for you, Coach B-Jack. Or B-Jack. I don't Coach B-Jack, we call him that. Says, Mace, how did the gauntlet help you? A lot of people don't know what the gauntlet is. How did the gauntlet help you? There's if you've been around for a while, you know what the gauntlet is. Not everybody's been around, so everybody don't know what we're talking about.
I can explain it though in today's world. The gauntlet was and it's a coaches group that was a bunch of coaches from different programs, right? So we had our own group. It's equivalent to what is out there publicly right now, or the Washington State group that we have right now, where you got two teams that are coming up on a fade, right? So there's some ramp up there. We're talking friendly trash or whatever, and then you end up losing. Okay. The gauntlet is what you didn't want to face. It was all of these coaches, and my man, Coach Mo, was usually the first one to crack it off. If you lost, best believe notifications was going to start hitting around 7:30, 8 at night, and will go all the way into the morning. But it was, hey, Coach Mace, you lost, man, to Federal Way Hawks in regular season, the G Scott, bro. Like, what happened? What happened, And it was like, man, you know what? Here's what I did. He came with the scrum or, the single wing. I couldn't beat it. And you know what? I started to get Aaron almost off too late. And then, you know what? He had this kid, this Solomon Bang kid that came out of nowhere and just ran crazy. But it forced me to go back to the film, us as a staff, right? See where we went wrong, to only come back that year, for an example, in playoffs and beat them in playoffs to go to the championship, right? So the gauntlet made you a better coach. The other coaches made you a better coach, and everybody dapped it up, and it was all good. Never personal.
Absolutely.
It was all good.
It was all built in love, but the I don't know, Coach Mace, the word that keeps hitting me is accountability. You had a group that you had to answer to. It wasn't so much interrogation style. It was more so, it was rooted in love. But what could you have done better? How could we help you in certain areas? How could we sharpen your tools? Like, it was that, and it was also admitting your faults, where you went wrong at. It was both sides. It's not just the bad. It's some good in it, which is only going to produce and help bring growth.
You were humiliating yourself, and you were okay doing it after you got comfortable being in the group. You know
Absolutely.
What I'm saying? Don't get it twisted. I remember when I first got in there, it wasn't rainbows, cupcakes, and triple Lutz.
You gotta have thick skin. It ain't for everybody. It wasn't too
long before dudes was on my head, like, you play in the pink division. All right. And
yeah, the PG version.
Yeah, come on, Mace. Y'all out there, y'all play in the week league. You're hearing all that. And then but yeah, you earn your stripes, man. Just that's like real. Today. It's happening. It's just some of the stuff is I can go. We got too many pop-ups. We got too many renegade teams. We got too many people, jumping ship, these days. And I'm just being real and just going all over versus finding a fit, within a not an organization, finding a fit within the coaching that you would prefer to have for your kid. The logos and the brands don't mean anything. Big. I'm gonna keep it real. Big. That's all marketing, because remember, they're businesses, right? It's the quality of the coaching is where you'll see retention. Just
hold on, coach.
Come on, man. Look around. Why was Kent Knight such a powerhouse under Lenny Gomez? Because he had a hell of a staff. He put everything into it, right? And you knew that you had to bring your A game. Blaze out in Federal Way. Blaze would put in countless hours to come in. You got to coach. Mike Bible. Facts. You know what I'm saying? And when I think of Westbrook, Junior Miller, but them dudes, Chris and me, the first time I got into the Gypsy League.
Mm.
I had bounced over from the Eagles to the Rough Riders because you
Mm.
know what? I was done playing in the Narrows League. We had won a bunch of championships, and you know, I would take heat. Come over to the Gypsy, see where you at. First game out, Westbrook and I, Junior Millie and I. What was it? It was 14-6, I believe. 14-6. Or I might have even got donut. And it was a reality check, man. We had to get back in the lab and you know do what we do. Came back and won every game though.
That's some heat. We got one more question for you, cuz that's some power pack, man. Accountability is huge. You know, like the thing with accountability, Coach Mace, you got to be man enough to not take it personal. In order for growth to take place, you got to be man enough to not take it so personal. Nobody's here trying to attack you. They're going to speak the real to you, so don't get that part twisted. They're going to speak the real, but you got to be man enough to accept it and communicate back and forth as a man, and not so as a man, but as a coach also, you know?
Yeah, and or just don't put yourself out there to feel like you're attacked. Everybody's going to lose a game. Everybody's going to lose a game.
Facts.
You know? I mean, you mentioned Air out there this weekend. They won one, they lost one. And guess what? Both were great games. Kevin Moff is my brother. He's my brother, bro. And you know what I'm saying? Absolutely. He's on the Apex Predator team. We talk all the time. And you know what? At the end of the day, but guess what's going to happen, right? Because I've been a part of that. There's going to be some people that are going to hate, right? And they're going to look at the loss and poke holes in it. And, this is, you know, and there's going to be some people that they're going to look at it like me. Those kids had a phenomenal experience going to Hawaii.
Absolutely. 100%.
Right? They played Team Hawaii. You know, Rob with JPS, I think, you know, had something to do with that. Know him very well. And then they played the OG Ducks. Come on, man. And I say that not about them. It's just about how people get caught up in this youth football. It's just not that serious. All those kids got better, win, lose, or draw. All those coaches got better, win, lose, or draw.
Absolutely. 100%.
So, you know, some of the stuff, we just got to chalk it up. It's youth football. It's not that serious. Just go out there and have fun, parents. You know what?
That's real.
Put your kids with a good fit and have fun, man.
That's real. We got one more coach from Coach chiming in. Coach Mason says, I got a question. For a dude ready to jump from youth football and climb to hopeful high school ranks, what advice do you have?
First and foremost, enjoy your youth football career to the fullest. And what I mean by that, if you're a coach or you're a parent of any of these kids, man, make it fun and make it memorable. Be careful out there, you know, and I'm not trying to tell people what to do, but some of these coaches with the language and the smoking before coaching, smelling like it, and just being this is a temperature check, man.
Yes, sir.
What? The kids are going to remember that, man. And you know, speed of the leader, speed of the pack. They're going to remember you doing it. Okay. So you know what? Love on these kids, man. And so make their youth football experience high level, bunch of fun. Now,
absolutely. When
you get into 8th grade, though, all right, going back to that question, when you get into 8th grade, 7th grade, start introducing what's, you know, some of the things that they're going to need to prepare for as it relates to high school. But be careful, because here's what I see happening now. Some of the pressures being put on these kids to go to high school and immediately be on varsity. And if they're on freshman team or JV, they're feeling condemned. And that should not be the case. At the end of the day, a lot of kids aren't going to be physically or mentally ready. So it is okay to be on C team. Both of my sons were played on freshman team. Guess what? Undefeated. They started. They had a blast, right?
That's real.
Sophomore. Boom. You know what? They're on varsity, you know, give them their skill set. But get your body right. You know what I'm saying? Learn to take care of your body. Recovery. Learn how to eat right. Learn how to eat right. All right. I used to love McDonald's too. But you know what? Eating, you know, 4 or 5, you know, breakfast sandwiches before you go out there and play probably is the best thing to do. So
it's gonna mess you up.
Learn how to take care of your body, and then prepare them, expose them to, you know, what STARS is, expose them to, you know, the 247 profiles and what that looks like.
Absolutely.
And then, you know what? And then hopefully they're prepared. There's a lot that you can do. I can go on, but the biggest thing is, man, make it fun. I wish that I could replace my two sons right now and go back to youth football. Y'all could have their college experience, which has been great, but I miss, being out there on Saturdays, the jamborees, all of that's going to go quick, man. So soak it up.
Absolutely. That's big time. Coach Mace, I got one more question before we get into some dope stuff. This one I think is really big to a lot of the coaches that's out there. Coach, what Coach Hart's talking about.
I see Coach Damian. We'll see GK week 1, Coach.
Jose
versus GK. Let's go, man.
Harp. We got action, baby. I'm there. I can't wait for that. That's gonna be spicy, baby. That's gonna be spicy.
Coach D. I'm gonna be there.
Yes, sir. That's gonna bang. So, Coach Mace, real quick with this. Right, absolutely, Coach Damian is super dope, man. You talking about somebody that love the kids, man. That there's not a lot more. That dude is special, man. That dude gives it his all, and maybe more than his all. That dude, he has to be exhausted after a game. That dude is so dope, man. I appreciate you, Coach Damian, and what you're doing for them kids in that community, that beautiful, dope community. They need more coaches like you. That's real, Coach Mace, real quick, describe to me the process of what goes into developing a new game plan. I feel like there's a lot of coaches in here that maybe don't understand the concept. They might have heard game plan, but don't understand the concept of how to use it to benefit them.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, for me, the concept of what goes into the game plan is first tapping in and sitting down with all your coaches. Coaches, if y'all are now in practice mode, right? If y'all not doing this with technology and meeting, at least once every other week to come up with the game plan, you're doing yourself, you're not doing yourself a favor, because there's other teams doing it and they're going to have an edge. So with that being said, man, you know what? We're taking a look at who we're going to play, right? If this is what you're talking about in game preparation, who we're going to play, who the coaches are, how long they've been coaching, because we can go back to, what their coaching style is. And then we're breaking it down, man. What's their blocking scheme look like? All right. And then I'm leaning on my O-line or D-line coach, and we're talking about what we're going to come up with to combat that. What type of, coverages do they like to play? Right. Which is going to tell me how I'm going to attack the defense. I'm a multiple pro guy, as far as system wise. I'll come out in 21 personnel, I formation with an attached tight end, a flex tight end. I'll come out in 20 personnel, still in a two-back situation, but we're spread out. I'll come out spread. But it really just depends on what I'm seeing. And my system, I feel like it fits every single, talent that comes to the table, which is why I can prepare a couple months in advance. If you're running a wing T and you don't have the lineman, you can't run a wing T.
That's real.
It's not going to happen. So that's square peg round hole. So going back to your question, honestly, man, it's having a meeting of the minds, everybody weighing in, the defensive coordinator based on what the offense is, and then we're creating the game plan together. All right. Okay. That's the biggest thing. And we're capturing that so that when we go to practice, we're going to start out with our normal structure, dynamic warm-ups. We always go into EDDs, but then when we get into position specific, right, we're already starting to drill our game plan in for the week.
That's real.
Inside run, we're running the plays that we're going to run in the game this upcoming weekend. The defense is, giving them the front that we're going to run as well, or vice versa. Skelly, I'm getting the coverages. I'm running, routes versus the defense, the 7-on-7, and then we're bringing it together live, man.
That's
so
big.
In summary, the game plan is everybody coming together and weighing in. And if that's not happening, how are you preparing? And if you're not doing that, you're kind of preparing to fail. You know what I'm saying?
That's big time. Coach Mace, I think we both froze, but we still can hear everything. We're still rolling as far as I know.
Okay, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, okay. I want to talk to you about development versus winning.
They go hand in hand.
Yes, sir.
They go hand in hand. If you develop, you'll win eventually.
Absolutely.
if you're not winning off the rep. If
Absolutely.
you're putting winning before development, then what you're doing is probably what's happened to the game now is you're just trying to go out, get a lot of the best kids, which I get it. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I want the best kids too.
Absolutely.
But in reality, you're getting the talent, and then you're not coaching those guys up. You're just letting those guys be guys. So if you put development first by having a game plan of how what you're teaching that particular day, right, with whatever it is that you're installing, you're going to develop along the way. Don't have kids standing around, man. Coaches should always be coaching.
Ooh,
and if you see kids standing around, it's just a lack of preparation. And 9 times out of 10, there's probably not a practice plan. If there's not enough to run a second group, then you know what? Kids should be rotating in constantly. Anybody that's ever been with me, I'll talk about QBs. I've never had QBs just sit. They've all practiced pretty much the same amount of reps. And then the separation just happens, but the development is still there, right? Because they're getting the reps. So I say they go hand in hand, and you can tell a lot of that by having a practice plan.
That's big. Parents, I hope you guys paid attention. That's maybe watching. Maybe not everybody's a coach in here. Coach Mason dropped a bomb. He basically explained you'll know if there's organization taking place. With that being said, you'll know if an off season is taking place. You'll know if that coach was prepping. We'll know if that coach was paying attention and locked in the off season.
Parents need to ask more questions these days, man. And I think they would lessen their own frustrations. Vet the coaches. I've said this in the group. I've typed it. But remember, communication, right? I've typed it. 7% words is probably not hearing it. I'm giving you body language and tone right now. Vet the coaches. There should be, if I'm not knowledgeable in a certain area, or I can't answer a question, then maybe I got somebody to answer it. But vet the coaches. Ask them what their why is. Ask them who, if you're an offense, if your kid plays offense and defense, ask to speak to those coaches. Hey, how do you prepare? And you ask me that question, I can show you better than I can tell you. Hey, take a look. Here we go. Right.
Facts.
Another nugget. Player evaluation sheets, man. Guess what? Again, you can be proactive. I have a template that has a super basic player evaluation sheet. Rates certain traits on a scale of 1 to 5. Aggressiveness, coachability, stuff like that.
That's dope.
If you use stuff like that and you retain it, you don't necessarily have to hand it out. I've handed it out in the past, or I've retained it. When that conversation comes and you see that dad or that mom, hey, coach, can I talk to you? And they're outside of the 24-hour rule, you're prepared, man. But you'll save yourself a lot of headache.
Man, that's you dropping bombs, man. Now, Coach Makes, this is a question that I've been excited to ask you. We kind of pre-prepped, and I kind of know bits and pieces, but I think this is dope. Talk to me about some of the coaches, some of the top coaches around that you respect. Just maybe we'll just throw 3 out there. I know there's a whole lot. We'll just throw.
You know what? There's a lot, man. And honestly, you know what? I'll just drop some names, and if I leave somebody off, that doesn't mean you're not a great coach. I just
absolutely.
Right now, I'm freestyling, right?
And I got you super late too, man. I know I got you out of your schedule, so that's my apologies. I appreciate you, Coach.
Man, you're good, man. You this is great. I would say I would start out. And I mentioned some of the names already. My guy, Lenny Gomez,
absolutely,
a fixture out there in Kent. Highly respect that man. Blaze Barber, highly respect that man. And these are guys that are still coaching, by the way. I think they got Lenny back out there. My guy, Coach Westbrook. Him and I, you know what? He's just dope, high level, which is why when we get together, man, it could be dangerous. Junior Malia, Coach Junior Malia pops out, man, phenomenal defensive coach. I think he's out there with the Red Sea 13.
Oh my goodness! Don't tell me that, Coach Mace.
He's out there, and I hope I didn't ruin anything for anybody, but man, man, my guy. I can't forget my guy, Coach Kev Moffitt, man. That's my brother, man.
Absolutely,
just a great dude. great dude. Coach Edry, Coach E. He was with the Sharks, SeaTac Sharks for a long time. Coach Al Scanlon. I have a lot of respect for him. Coach Damien, Coach Jamar from CD. These guys are program guys, man. Coach June out there with the Auburn Ravens. Terrence Metcalf. Junie, yes, my guy Junie from Parkland Raiders. Mila, Coach Tali out there. Reg, man. Despite with the Reg, Reg Jones, he's gonna put his everything into it. You know Absolutely. What I'm saying? If you have a kid on his team, Coach CT, EQ, yes, Coach Nikolai out there in GK, man.
Yes,
highly respected. Tyson Goodnight out at Bonnie Lake. My man, Coach Heem. He's with Rise now. We go way, way back. Can't forget.
Coach, before with Coach Heem, listen. When me and Coach Heem had these comments, he says Mace. What was the term he used? Mace is a, what did he say, man? I was like, hold on, how did he describe? Mace is a corporate gangster. I said, man, stop, man, leave Mace alone. I said Mace is a corporate gangster, man.
He's not lying, man. Look, you know what? Here's the secret. Here's the secret sauce with me. I do this out of straight passion. My real career is I'm a business relationship manager, for a bank. That's my real career for over 20 years. So
man,
when
that's
you
beautiful.
Get me,
congrats, Coach.
Nah, it's cool. But here's what's dope though. When you get me, you get all of me with no strings attached, no nothing. And no Absolutely. Disrespect to anybody out there running a business.
That's real.
And this is what you do. I respect what you do, but there is somewhat of a difference. You know what? I'm not competing with anybody because I'm not in competition with, revenue wise. I don't need enrollments. I don't need payments. I don't need any of that. Right.
Absolutely.
So don't compete with me because, compete with a guy that's not in competition. I mean, you're wasting your time, man. But nah, man, coaches, man, there's a lot out there. And, you got days out there with the Bolts. These are guys that I see, regardless of whatever, playing against them, they put a ton of time in. You can tell they put a ton of time in. And trust me, there's a lot of coaches out there that I didn't mention and that I have a lot of respect for.
Absolutely.
The ones that I don't care for are the ones that are just winging it. And real. You know what? And I don't know that because I'm not out there. But if you are, you know who you are. You're doing these kids. You're not doing them justice. You're not giving the parents a return on their investment. I got a grandson coming up. He'll be 6U here next year. You know what? I still want to be an armchair coach. I don't want to coach.
Absolutely.
I'm going to be looking for some of these men that I mentioned. You know what? To put my kid with, man. It's got to be
absolutely. Every coach isn't a great fit, Coach Mace.
No, not at all, man.
Every coach isn't a great fit. Parents gotta evaluate too. Like you said, when that first week, when it's sign-ups and preparations and figuring everything out, that's when you make your decision. You might want to go to your local community or close by, but every coach isn't a great fit. You gotta think in terms of player development. What is he gonna bring? It's a team game. We understand that, but a coach can't just focus on just a select few. You gotta coach all.
No, and every program's not a fit because
absolutely
you typically create a culture within a program, right?
Okay.
And some people don't like, they don't like the loud, abrupt type culture, the music box playing with all the flash and the shiny things, right?
Absolutely.
Some of that excites people, right? Just go find the fit. Trust me, there's a fit for everybody. Here's what I will say though. I would start out with a rec program, a local rec program first. All right. Okay. Which is where my grandson's going to start.
Absolutely.
He'll probably be out there with the GK Eagles and
absolutely.
Because it's one of the top feeders in the state of Washington. That's why they're so good. Lake Stevens, they have one of the top feeder programs in the state of Washington. Whether they're scared to come out and play somebody or not, doesn't matter. They have they're playing the long game. Bellevue.
Absolutely.
What do some of those schools have in common that I'm naming? State championships, right? They have a culture.
Absolutely. From
So five
from the youth on up too.
Yeah, from the youth on up. Trust me, I used to be the president of Graham Eagles, man. It's run so tight,
Mm-hmm.
and I learned a lot from that experience.
Mm-hmm.
And big shout out to the 2021 team, right? They won state, and then they went on to beat Collins Hill in the National Geico Bowl, playing against
Yes,
Travis
sir.
Hunter. A lot of those poor kids played together since they were fourth grade. My son was on that
Jeez.
team. And there are people out there that get that concept. That's why you see certain teams right now, they're moving up, right? Those good coaches are staying with those teams. Again, they'll have a little attrition. They're going to lose 4 or 5 guys a year. It's just naturally going to happen.
Absolutely.
But they've created a culture. So that's what we need more of versus this isn't working. Let me go start my own organization. This isn't working, because now you're starting a business. Not everybody has business acumen, right?
That's big.
That's why, a Parkland Raiders has been around for a long time.
Yep.
My guy, Fred Tremaine, much respect to the GOAT.
Man, I'm telling you.
Come on, man.
You talking about a legend. That man is a special guy. Special.
Much respect to my guy, Marcus Fields, out there that's running it. Much respect to Milo and those guys that are out there.
Absolutely.
Because I can go back to when I first started coaching. They were a sound program then. They're a sound program now. Why?
Consistency.
The infrastructure and the culture.
That's big.
Yeah, man.
Ooh. Man, and last but not least, Coach Mace, I don't want to hold you too much longer out, man. Your time is super valuable, and I just appreciate you giving it. My apologies. It looked like it froze, but we still rolling still. Last but not least, Coach Mace, this is a super big, and I gotta plug this because I think this is just dope for our community. Another avenue that kids can utilize. Talk to me about FBU.
Ah, man. And see, that's how humble I am, right? Other than, I'm rocking the shirt today because,
Absolutely.
I already had it on. But FBU, Football University, man. FBU Team Seattle. I got to tell you, man, it's my baby, man.
Absolutely.
It's my baby. And, I had let it go for about a year, and then COVID had took over, and then kind of saw it, go south, and we got the defibrillator out. So FBU Football University has been around for a very long time, many years. FBU is tied to the All-American game that's nationally televised. It's tied to the Freshman All-American game. It's tied to the National Combine. It's now tied to Under Armour as well. And myself and Eric Medeiros, we brought FBU to the state of Washington, man, back in 2010. And it's been here every single year since then. I can go on about the kids that have come through the program. I don't want to do anybody, leave anybody out. But if you go to the website, FBU or footballuniversity.org, you'll find a lot of information there. So we had our first teams in 2010, and then we went to all 3 teams in 2011, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. They introduced 10U I'd say about 5 years ago. Parkland Raiders, ironically, was our very first 10U team to go represent the state of Washington under the FBU brand. And while I took so many darts in the back, helping start that program, because the word on the street was, oh, you're gonna lose your kids, and I don't know if you're gonna lose them too, but it's an all-star concept.
That's real.
Versus what it is now. You got the select, you'll really lose your kids, right? I played that game too. But FBU, man, it brings together all the different players from different organizations, which is so dope, because you see all the different helmets. You see, Rise, you see Rough Riders, man. You see Big Blue. Again, you see Lake Stevens. You can see Yelm down there. And we come together. Dope. We start, practice in the month of November officially, and we prepare to go compete against other states. We're representing the state. And we're representing different programs. So much respect to any program that's out there that's ever sent a kid to FBU. I can't thank you enough, because without you, there is truly no us. And we want to try to put Washington on the map. And we've done that. We've had 3 national championship showings, 6th, 7th, and 8th. We didn't come out victorious in any of those. The first national championship was won by Chris Vala and his Benson 10U team.
Salute. That's a good time.
They took on the task, and I again, words can't even explain how much I appreciate those guys, because they could have did some other stuff.
Absolutely.
Even though they were getting pulled different directions, and they decided to do FBU, and they won that thing, man. They won in the top bracket as a 10U. So with that, man, dope. You know what? It's back. So in the next couple of weeks, we're going to announce the coaches at each level. We got some phenomenal coaches, man. We hosted regionals here last year. We're looking at doing the same thing. It's postseason. And we do our best to work around any other schedule. There's going to be other events out there, other all-star games, but nothing's like FBU, man.
Absolutely.
We play locally, and our goal is to punch our ticket to Naples, Florida, to be in the top 8, and play in December in Naples, Florida. While we're down there, the teams, they'll attend the freshman All-American game, which we already got some guys that were picked for that.
So dope. My goodness.
Man, we got Chris that came from Gridiron. Aloha.
That's so dope.
Coached his older brother, man. We got Ofa out of I think Gridiron. He's gonna be representing down there as well. These are just off the top of my head.
Dope.
And then we got some opportunities for kids to still earn an opportunity to play in the freshman All-American game. But 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, if you're interested, we have a Facebook page. It's FBU Team Seattle. Just go on and DM. And, man, if you got some tape from last year, we are looking for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. Our 10U squad this year being represented, you know what? We already got them locked in as Rise Football Academy 10U. Curtis Arrington and Heem, they're leading that team. Dope. And guess what? Those two,
salute, fellas.
They've earned it. And you know what? Rise has earned it. When Rise first started, myself and Coach Westbrook were part of that. With Reg kicking it off, they were one of the first organizations to even support FBU by having a joint tryout and things like that. So I got to give them a plug, because they let us use their indoor facilities in their classrooms when it's cold outside for us to prepare. But man, the 6th, 7th, and 8th is going to be crazy this year. 6th grade, kind of letting the cat out the bag. Coach Mike Westbrook's going to be heading up that squad.
Ooh-wee.
Oh yeah. We got man. We got 8th grade. We got Coach Mila and Coach Tolly. They're gonna be heading up the 8th grade squad. They're coming back for some.
Oh my God, boy, you're talking about.
Man. Oh yeah. And then I'll save the 7th grade for a special announcement. I'm excited.
Absolutely.
Just nailed down that gentleman today, but a lot of respect. We're just trying to switch it up a little bit and give guys an opportunity to lead. But thank you for the plug, man. Go check it out. FBU Team Seattle. You'll see.
Absolutely.
Man, if you know of any who's top high school kids out of state of Washington, there's a high percentage that they played FBU at one point in time.
Absolutely. Them. I mean, we look through those team pictures, and it's D1 all over the place. It just don't even make sense how talented those teams are, and not just how talented it is, Coach Mace, or just how dope the staff is, but just the bond, the relationships. You know how unique that is,
and how it brings other coaches from different programs together. We try our best to diversify the coaching staffs, and and I see a question here: can Canadian kids join FBU? Absolutely. In fact, I'm talking with some folks up there. Canada used to there was a year that they had a program in FBU. We played them at Eastside Catholic. We would love to get Canada back in the mix. So I've been talking to I've been talking to some representatives up there from Game Ready Elite and different programs that, you know what, if they wanted to take the reins, we'd love to have them back.
Man, that is so dope. I'm gonna give myself a quick little plug too, Coach DQ. Man, I would love to have you on, man. I love everything that you represent and what you're about and your heart and your passion, not only for gridiron, but you treat every kid like they're in your program and they're your own. And that's a treasure in itself. You don't talk bad about any programs. Like, it's genuine love. If you can't be impacted by being in the presence, and I know it's the heart of God inside Coach DQ, but if you can't be impacted by just being in his presence, you got to question yourself. Like, that's a unique coach. Like, our community is super blessed to have him active in our community.
Let me piggyback, man. Let me tell you something about Coach DQ and his program, man. And this is when I talk about networking, right? And not just being siloed to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
He's phenomenal. I've watched him go
Absolutely.
from training kids in the gym to, his own building. I was,
Mm-hmm.
just out there at the high school field in Sparks, seeing a bunch of his eighth graders now in high
Mm-hmm.
school playing. Coach DQ is phenomenal out there, man. Amazing program. So amazing that for the last few years, him and I partner for the JPS Classic. And you know what? He's blessed me with the opportunity to head coach the JPS 14U.
That's
We
dope.
won the championship this past year, and to run that team. And he has the high school
Mm-hmm.
team as well. And I always have a blast reconnecting with them postseason, man. It's
That's
just
so
it's
dope.
a fellowship and it's a brotherhood, bro.
Man, it is so dope. Coach Heem, Coach CA, you know I need y'all too, man. I want to keep this thing rolling. I want to get some dope personalities on here. I want our community to be able to understand, like I said, who is coaching our babies, and just give a platform to the coaches to be able to talk their stuff, like in a positive way. Like, I also want to use it to, man, let's help grow and bond and build this community together. Like, I know you don't talk him too much, but you my bro, and we gonna talk that talk. It could be short, it could be 5 minutes. I don't care what it is, but we gonna talk that talk.
And man, here's the thing. I'm always willing to talk shop too. So any coaches out there, man, you know what? If you got any questions or you ever want to bounce something off of me, or you know what, if I don't know the answer, I'll get the answer.
That's
There was a
dope.
ton
That's
of
so
coaches
dope.
that poured into me because I
Hmm.
asked a lot of questions. I still ask a lot of questions to
Absolutely.
be a better coach. And we just need to see more of that, man. And if you're
Yeah.
truly about it and you're not going to
Hmm.
waste my time and you're going to
Hmm.
apply it, I'll even share stuff with you, templates and all that
That's
jazz.
dope.
Again,
That
I
is
don't
so
have a
dope.
dog in the fight. In the fall, just call me the armchair coach. You know what?
That's real.
I sit back with
One
my popcorn, man, and just watch the show.
That's real. One thing I do know, Coach Mace always said, I'm not gonna plant a seed in the bad ground. If I know it ain't gonna produce nothing, why would I plant a seed in bad ground? It don't make sense. It's not productive. Like you said, don't waste my time. Be respectful and honorable with it. Like, I'm not gonna sow into bad ground. It makes no sense. I'm only gonna sow in good ground where it can produce results, produce fruit,
Exactly, man.
and be productive. So, man, Coach Mace, I know it's late, man. I apologize, but I appreciate this. This is so dope, man. Thank you for kicking this thing off. I pray to God, man, a lot of coaches get behind it. Man, I really want this thing to just be transparent. I want this thing to be big. I'm far from perfect. I'm creating and mixing and matching. You see, my Wi-Fi went out and froze, or it didn't go out, but it froze on me on my behalf. Still figuring out kinks. I'm producing and trying to talk it out and keep it rolling and have fun with this thing. But I want us to be able to have something in Washington. Like, all of us always looking in the national groups in different states and seeing what they got on. It's about time we have something for our own. About time we got grassroots in Washington. We lay a foundation. Also, something you said earlier too, Coach Mace. A house cannot be built without a foundation. You said something that was real dope, but then I thought about it. A house cannot be built without a foundation. You gotta have that. That's priority. You gotta have that.
Surround yourself with people that are gonna, support you and add value. Get rid of
That's
the
real.
people that aren't. You know what I'm saying? And
That's real.
yeah, no, thank you for the opportunity. For anybody that's out there watching, if I ever coach your kid, thank you. You know what?
That's
Thank you
big.
for allowing me to be part of their journey. If I ever coach with you, thank you for being my colleague, my friend,
Mm,
my confidant. And that coaching experience as well, man. This game is unforgiving, man, and there's a lot of memories that we walk away with as a coach as well. So with that, man, I appreciate you and everything that you're doing for the platform. So,
man,
but
absolutely.
let folks know too. We'll be back during the season when them games kick off, so we can.
Oh, we kicking off. We got some personal interviews jumping. We gonna temperature check. We got that. We gonna get this smoke rolling. But Coach Mace, before you leave, I got one more thing. Yep. For coaches that might want to know, how should they build their staff? What should they be looking for as far as a dope community in between themselves? When you're looking to put a dope staff together, not just for one season, but to continue to develop, what should some coaches be looking for?
You know what? You said earlier, look at yourself first, and then determine what your areas of opportunity are. Determine what your weaknesses are, right? Because you don't want to surround yourself with a bunch of people that are just going to agree with everything that you do. You want people to challenge the status quo. So I've surrounded myself with people that be like, Mace, that's not going to work. Or I see Coach Junior Malia on here. Remember when I blitzed the A gap on you? You know what I'm saying? And it didn't work. If they do that, you know what, you're right. So you know what? How do I combat that? So you know what? Surround yourself with people that are going to add value, and then there's strength in numbers, man. You know what? If you don't know a lot of people, start to try to vet people to generate those relationships. Coach to kid ratio is a real thing. All right. Kid ratio is a real thing. So anybody that's ever coached with me, or if I ever solicited you to join the staff, right, and then we generated a relationship, it's because you need a minimum of 6 coaches to effectively coach 30 plus kids.
Agree. I mean, it's a numbers game.
11 coaches.
Woo, my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow, I love that.
Yep. So
you're talking about coaching. That's coaching.
That's coaching. And if there's dads out there that, you know what, if you're at 2 or 3, humiliate yourself. Hey, I need a few more dads to join the staff. But then bring them along with your preparation and the whole 9. Because if it's 2 or 3 of you guys to 30 plus kids,
I'm not gonna say it's not gonna be successful, but it's gonna be a lot of wasted time.
Yeah, and I appreciate you because maybe that's all it is, but it's
absolutely
it's gonna be an uphill battle. So
hey, you gotta reach out to the community and tell them, man, for the sake of those babies and the interest of those babies, you need to be reaching out beyond your measures to get some more bodies out there. You owe it to the community that you're serving and coaching. You owe it to those babies to have. But once again, Coach Mason, we talked about that in the off season. That's where that type of stuff is prevented.
Yes.
You can prevent in-season stuff by addressing it off-season. If you got your staff already put together and you're winning the off-season, you're productive. We know the 5 Ps, Coach Mace.
Come on.
Proper preparation prevents poor performance. You win in the off-season, Coach Mace. We had our pre-talk about this yesterday.
Say it again.
You don't win.
You win where?
You win in the off-season, Coach Mace. You don't win like that's the fruit is when you're winning in season. You win all season. That's when it shows what you're made of. Coaching clinics and different stuff.
That's why some organizations, in my opinion, are so old school that they still have rules, and I don't know if any of them still do. They still have rules of when you can start, and versus when they want you to start.
Absolutely.
To me, any team should be able to start when they're ready to start.
Absolutely.
If a coach is that passionate to get their guys together early for workshops and workouts so that they're prepared, why not? It's the folks that only want to coach between here and here that have a problem.
Them 5 to 7s, them 5 to 7:30s.
The 5 to 7:30s, them the coaches that they end up getting beat anyway.
They weed themselves out.
They get beat.
They like a drum. Hey, Coach Mace, I know we can keep going. I know we can, but I wanna honor your time. I didn't pass already, but you're so gracious with it. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to more of y'all. While I got you on, Coach Mace, I gotta throw the plug. Y'all, please follow the YouTube channel, Expensive Carrots Podcast, the Facebook page, Expensive Carrots, I haven't really been active so much on IG, but the IG Expensive Carrots Pod, and just tap in with me, support, man. I really want this thing. We're not just going to talk football. This is a segment, temperature check about football, but we're going to talk life. We're going to talk culture. We're going to talk manhood. We're going to talk about being a husband, relationships. Like We're gonna talk that talk. And mind you, I'm not perfect. I wanna reach out to experts in their areas. I want to have people that I want my barber on here that's just dope in the mentorship, and I just want to have just no different than how barbers pour into people when you're talking and communicating. I want people in social workers. I want people in the school system. I want to have people in all different areas. I got a bunch of top athletes that's gonna lock in with me. The number one wide receiver in the 2020 5 or 26 class, Ethan Booby Fester out of DeSoto, Texas. He played for DeSoto Eagles. Right now got over 30, 40, maybe about 40 offers or something crazy. Only a freshman, but he's already the top number one wide receiver in his class. And I got a Texas A&M commit running back. He'll be there next year. He's also with DeSoto Eagles. So I got a bunch of people lined up due to the fact that I build these relationships when I'm out, in different states, and I want to bring something that's out there in here. I'm always looking, how can we create and turn Washington culture a little, give it a different type of feel for it, bring something that's a little bit different. And I feel like somebody has to initiate in order to make this thing happen. I don't care if it's me or whoever it is, but I just was like, man, enough's enough. What could I do to help bridge a gap? Let's get this thing going. Let's communicate as guys. It shouldn't just be negative energy when we run into a coach. It should be love. It should be handshakes. It should be dap, man. I appreciate you coaching my nephew, or I appreciate you coaching X, Y, and Z. It should be just love. How could I help over here? How could I help over there? It should just be love, I understand there's going to be some friction, that take place from time to time, but let's keep this thing Washington business. Let's keep this thing focused on these kids.
Absolutely.
So with that said, Coach Mace, I gotta ask one last thing. I know I done said that 2-3 times, but it's an honor to have you. I want to do every show. I want to end with a carrot of the day, which is basically just a piece of wisdom that you would throw out to any coach or anybody that's watching, a parent. Just, it could be about football, it could be about life, it could be about whatever, but just a carrot of the day that you would mind sharing if you got anything just off the top of your head.
No, man, I say it all the time, and I truly mean it. Dreams don't work unless you do. I'll say it again. Dreams don't work unless you do. And that's for players. That's for coaches. That's for parents. That's for business owners. You know what? Put in the work, and you know what? Everything will work out. And you know what? And you know who to put your faith in. Whatever that is, I know where my faith is. You know what I'm saying? But dreams don't work unless you do.
That's real.
Nobody can ever argue with work ethic at every level. So,
Facts.
If anything, I'm gonna outwork you.
Hey, facts. Man, I appreciate you, Coach Mace. Man, this has been a super honor and treasure, man. I look forward to getting this thing rolling. You got the open invite, man. If you wanna co-host this thing with me, I told you already, man. Or if you want to just pop on and be a guest every so often, especially when we get these game previews and these coaching matchups together and get this thing real spicy once these schedules come out. And man, we just gonna have fun with this thing. Temperature check. We gonna get this thing jumping. We don't gotta be personal, but we gonna have fun with this thing. We gonna create this thing and keep it in house, and it's Washington business.
Exactly.
Bread business, Washington business.
We bringing it home. Nah, man. I'm here for the season. Again,
yes, sir.
I'm on the couch during the season. So when these games kick off, please, I'd love to be here. So count me in.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate your time, Coach Mace, man. Thank you for locking in with Expensive Carrots on the first segment of Temperature Check, and we're going to get this thing jumping. Appreciate you, Coach Mace. Blessings.
Thank you, brother. Have blessings to you, too. Appreciate
Yes, sir. Thank you, family.